And here we go on our Tuesday Hey Mary Kay edition of the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Mary Kay, let's get right to it. As our Football Insider subscribers, as they always do, came through with questions for us. We'll start with Randy Snyder in Parkersburg, West Virginia. And this sort of lines up with something you wrote about over the weekend. Hey Mary Kay, can the Browns go deep in the playoffs with Jacoby-Brissett playing all year?
You know what? It's such a great question, Dan. And I really hate to say it, but the more I talk to people, the more there is a concern that this could actually happen, that the league could come down really hard on Deshaun Watson and give him up to a year. And who knows, maybe there are some negotiations going on right now back and forth between Deshaun's people and the Browns and the NFL, whereby if he does a certain amount of things to get some kind of help or make some restitution, maybe they'll come up with something where it's not going to be that long. But I'm starting to hear real, genuine concern that it could be that. Now, does that mean that the Browns are fine going forward with Jacoby-Brissett? I think they're going to have to be. I've said this many times before. The ship has sailed on Baker Mayfield. They're not going back to Baker Mayfield. They're not going to do that. They would rather get through this season with Jacoby-Brissett than go back to Baker Mayfield. There is too much water under the bridge. There is too much bad blood that went on between those two. And I just don't see it happening. So, and I think when you see that they excused him from this minicamp, that tells you right there, like, they don't want him around and he doesn't want to be around. I mean, this just needs to end as soon as they can all find. So yeah, they're going to have to be comfortable with Jacoby-Brissett. But as I wrote in my Hey MKs for Sunday, they have a great defense. They've got a great running game, good offensive line, good pass catchers. It's probably the best or one of the best supporting casts that Jacoby-Brissett will have had in his career. And, he's just going to have to hold down the fort, and they're going to have to hope that they can challenge for a playoff berth in the event that he starts the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, it is disappointing that the bridge is just so torn down between the Browns and Baker, because a healthy Baker is probably better than Jacoby-Brissett. Now, Baker last year is not better than Jacoby-Brissett, and maybe, he had the rib issues in 2020, he had the shoulder injury in 2021. Maybe it's going to be tough for Baker to stay healthy for a whole season because of his stature. But there is a world where Baker could have helped this team and helped himself, but like you meant, that bridge got burned back when he requested that trade.
Absolutely. I mean, that is basically when it happened. I mean, when Deshaun Watson turned the Cleveland Browns down initially, and Baker came out and said, no, I want to be traded. After that, that was a burnt bridge right there. And then he came out and said, the relationship is beyond repair. And he basically said he had no intentions of playing another down for the Cleveland Browns. So there's just, the relationship is beyond repair.
As we talk about a potential heavy suspension for Watson, even a year-long suspension, or as you have thrown out there, a possibility, again, we're all just guessing here, right? The idea of an indefinite suspension. Paul from Danbury, Connecticut brings up a good point, or it brings up an interesting discussion, I think, in this whole Watson thing. Hey, Mary Kay, if Watson is suspended for a year or indefinitely, how does this help the team get to the Super Bowl? Is the front office willing to stand by their mistake at the cost of winning seasons? And the reason I found this interesting is because he uses the word mistake. If Deshaun Watson is suspended for the 2022 season only, and he plays the rest of his contract, would the Browns view that as a mistake?
Not necessarily, because the contract would toll, and it would basically, if he is suspended for the year, or suspended indefinitely or whatever. I think the indefinite suspension, where he is thereby banned from the league, which that could happen, then they would start the clock next year. And I think that, the Browns would view that as an opportunity to go to a couple of Super Bowls sometime over the next 5 years. So that's something. And again, these are things that might be going on behind the scenes in terms of discussion, because the way that you approach that would impact, the future and how long the Browns have them and those kind of things. So, as of right now, I don't think that they will look at this as a complete and total waste if they can start the clock on him next season. And again, as you mentioned, and we really need to make this clear, we are just guessing right now. We have I had originally heard that it could possibly be 6 games. Who knows? It could still be that. I doubt it right now, but 6, 8, 10 season indefinitely. I don't know where this is going yet.